In today's video, I'm going to share with you why I love Clubhouse. Yes, you heard it from me. The one that is talking about getting off of social medias. You're not going to want to miss this, because if you are like me, where you are getting simple with your life and getting rid of all of that, you might want to hear why I'm a fan of Clubhouse. And if you are interested in growing your business and your life and your faith on purpose, but with simplicity, then you're probably going to want to subscribe to this channel. I am going through a little bit of a change in my own life and business, and that is what I'm going to be digging into in 2021 and beyond with simplicity. So hit that subscribe button, and definitely, if you are vibing or you have questions, please comment below about Clubhouse. I'm still new, but I want to answer your questions, and I'll make videos about it because we're going to be starting on a journey with Clubhouse, and I'm going to be sharing here on YouTube. Okay, let's get to the video today. So recently I just joined Clubhouse, and I gotta tell you, side note here, I am all about simplicity. And just so you know, I actually let go of a lot of the social media apps, even though I'm still in them, because I have certain Facebook groups where I get some of my business coaching and stuff in. But what I will say is it has sucked up a whole lot of my time where I'm not left to do the things that really make me happy. Now, I'm not on here saying I'm anti, social media. And actually, even as I teach my bosses, I'm definitely not about that. But what I wanted to say is I was resisting this whole Clubhouse thing, especially when I read that people were getting addicted to it. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's just another Facebook. But I'm so grateful that I got out of my way and at least tried it, because I can see why it's addicting. And I'll tell you just a little bit about my journey. And also, there were two other bosses that we got together and we started the very first room, and we were rookies, right? But I'm also going to share just a little snippet of that conversation. And of course, these rooms, I want you to imagine this, because this is how I have seen Clubhouse. Now, I know a lot of people are saying it's a social media platform, but honestly, isn't everything? If you think about it, even WhatsApp and Voxer, all of them, we're connecting virtually. Even Zoom in some aspect is a form of social media. So for me, I had to get out of my head about what social media is about, because to be honest, social media is taken on a whole other level, because we actually, in the Happy Universe, we have an actual community inside of our platform, and there's no difference. If you look at that, it's set up very similar to Facebook, where it's a space where we can connect. So for me, I've really transformed that word social media, and we're also doing that in our HAPS sessions, transforming these words that we use and the way that we're defining them, and stepping back and really reevaluating what that word is. Okay, enough of all of that, right? Let's get to Clubhouse. So the way that I see Clubhouse is like a podcast, except way easier, which is what I'm about, simplicity, right? And so as I discovered this, granted, there are rooms out there that I was like, the first one I got into, it was so much. People were talking over one another, which is another reason why I want to talk a little bit about etiquette here. They were talking over one another. They were, doing this, doing that. And it was craziness for me. I was like, yeah, I don't understand this. But then I got in the room of why I initially got invited, and it was all about, funnels and growing your business. And it was this awesome conversation. And I now paint a picture, right? This is my very first time, have my ear pods in. I'm actually doing it while I was doing some housework. I was vacuuming, and okay, what is this app all about, right? And all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, because it's not being recorded, right? Like, I need to write this down. That guy, he just dropped a bomb that actually is going to save me so much time in my business, which I'm going to be honest, I've been with high-end coaches that haven't given me that sort of boom message. but I had to be on it, which is why I think people have gotten addicted to it, right? Because they don't want to miss out on this awesomeness when you find those rooms, right? So I went and I ran and I got a notepad and paper and I was writing notes. But anyways, that was kind of what happened. And I was like, oh, wow. And I found myself listening for about an hour that day, and it didn't, I actually did it while I was doing housework and also while I was in the pickup line picking my son up for school, which I'm there usually 20 minutes. And that's actually when I like to listen to YouTube videos or some of my own business coaching stuff that I need for my own personal development. Just throwing that out there for those of you who are like me, who are using your time effectively to create what it is that you want in your life. So let's fast forward. I was like, I'm going to do this. Like, this is so much fun. I want to, be a moderator. I want to hold a room and have these chats, because in the past we had what was called the Sisters Show. And that was so much fun. And it was video. And let me tell you something about this. We had to get everything set up, get all of our time zones, to orchestrate. We had to, get the people that were going to, join our sister show, and we had to set that up and make sure the audio, make sure everything was jiving and we weren't having technical difficulties. We had to join early. You guys get all of that, right? Well, we literally set up the room and I was like, my timer went off and it was like, oh, we're gonna start. It was so easy. We knew kind of the things that we wanted to talk about, because what it is, when you set up a room, you bring this, but it's more conversation style. But what I love the most, and this is what I'm about, is not like, I'm coming here, I'm the, queen bee, and I'm the queen bee and I'm going to, deliver all of this and you guys are just there receiving. No, we all are brilliant, right? Like I've always even said, my kiddos are like my little Buddhas too. They drop wisdom on me like no other. And this platform allows you to really have these conversations, but share in an authentic, genuine way. Granted, I have seen the other part, but if you find those right rooms, and it is all about, doesn't our vibe attract our tribe, right? So you're going to know when you find a room that you just totally get, you totally love. And that's what makes me excited. So we jumped on and it totally didn't feel like anything other than we were jumping on a three-way phone conversation. And I know that it was a conversation that so many other women would have loved to have gotten into. Now, granted, we are starting to do these every Thursday morning. So that would be, what would that be? 6 a.m. Pacific Standard, 7 a.m. Mountain Standard, 8 a.m. Central Standard, and 9 a.m. Pacific Standard. And so it's every Thursday, and it's called Spa for the Entrepreneur's Soul. Now, I know that we're going to have some more around life, right? But for now, this is what we're digging into. And the reason, but we are using this room to share the sample version of what they're going to receive in our event, the Spa for the Entrepreneur's Soul. And that is happening at the end of March. And I'm so excited about that. And I will put the link below this video so you can go and get signed up. It doesn't cost anything to get on that wait list. But because you're on the wait list, you're gonna have a chance to win a prize valued at $1,000. So you're definitely gonna want to be on the wait list versus just joining when we launch and we are getting everyone signed up. So back to Clubhouse. So we joined and it was so much fun. And if they were here, I know that Nancy and Megan would tell you that they just had fun. It was a blast. It was so easy, so effortless. And going forward from 2021, that is what I'm creating in my life and business. And all the bosses that I'm going to be working with, that's what we're going to be focusing on in their business. Like, let go of the stuff that isn't working. And the two most important things is obviously getting money in, because just the energy that creates the wheel, right? And the second thing is building relationships so that we can pour into our people. And if we can't do those two things, we really are not having a good business design. And I'm still making changes as I go. And it's because I'm listening to my people and I'm letting them help me create the simplicity and you know, in the setup for their learning and how they can grow their business. And all of the facilitators in the Happy Universe, in their individual sessions, they do the same thing as well. So the etiquette, and just so you know, if you don't know anything that I'm talking about, maybe you're like, what is the Happy Universe? Don't worry, girl, I gotcha. I'm gonna put the links below the video here where you can just go have fun. There's free heart activation session. There's you're gonna learn about phase shift. There's all kinds of goodies down below, so just get signed up, okay? And what we found was it was easy to jump in the room. We knew that, wow, we need to update our bio, right? Because as we find the rooms and stuff, we want to, find our friends, right? And if we trust that, as we find the rooms, we're going to be connecting with those incredible humans. Because here's what happened. I'm going to share this screenshot with you on what happened to my Instagram and what happened to my followers. Now, mind you, when I started the room, I was only at 22 followers. And what ended up happening was, after we had our chat, I another room had popped up that sounded good. So I clicked on it. I finished getting ready. And did you hear me? I finished getting ready. I was not even ready when I had this chat. No one even knew. And that was brilliant. But do you see here where my, it went from 22 followers to 33. And the thing is it's not about the followers. This is about connecting you with the right people, because what happened was I joined that other room. I was invited on stage, and if you don't know, basically everyone is in the audience. I want to give you a visual here, right? Like everyone's in the audience down here, right? And they have speakers, which, are hosting that room, and you can have 1, 2, 3, 4, however many, right? You can have a lot of speakers up on the stage, and everyone's that's on the stage is muted. Now, when you're in the audience, you're automatically muted, just so you know. No one told me this, and so I was panicked when I first logged in, and I was like, oh my gosh, am I like on this thing? Can they hear me? Like, where's the mute button? You don't really have that option because you're in the audience. But when they pull you to the stage, it's like you mute yourself, right? And I want you to imagine you're like on the side of the stage waiting for the person, the host, to call you out on stage, so that you can present. And so basically I got invited to the stage with and I was on there. And then when I unmuted, I just shared that I had just joined the room. I just shared me. I shared a little bit about me and all that good stuff. And what ended up happening, here's what I love about this app, is the people that were like, oh my gosh, she's way too, like, she talks too fast. She is just too much. She is bugging me. That's cool, right? Like, I don't hate on them. They don't, it's fine. We want to share our time with the people that love us most, right? But this is the wonderful thing that happened, is the people that were like, wow, this chick is cool. Who is this chick? They went on my profile, which is why your profile is very important to have your, Instagram, because right now, Instagram, that's the only way you can chat with them, right? And I have not posted. Look at my last post on Instagram. It was December 30th. And as of today, recording this, it is January 27th. So it's been almost a month. And look at all the followers that I got. And again, you guys, this is not about the followers, but this is the quality of the people that you're connecting to. Because as people were joining the stage and I was listening to them, guess what? I was doing the same thing. I was like, who is this chick? What is, like, I love it. She just landed me a bunch of awesome content and I need to follow her. In my next video, I'm actually going to be sharing some of my pet peeves already about this. And it's not to complain, but it's rather like, if you understand, it's like what to do and what not to do. Because it's just, then if you do those things, you're just really in that space of creating another Facebook. But I see people like me who are seeing the value in this and the brilliant contacts. This will grow you and your channel and everything about you. And some people may go from that angle. I'm not about just doing this to be an influencer and have all of these numbers, right? I'm doing it to genuinely connect and make these authentic relationships. For me, I would rather get my, the person that wants to work with me or the person that I want to work with in front of me, because one of the things that I'm going to be teaching the bosses is it's as important to know your ideal dream client. It's as important to know that as just equally as important to know who is not your person, is not your human. And this is not about beating them up or shaming, any of that sort of thing. What I mean is that person is not your person because that person is someone else's person. And what I mean by that is, when I see people doing, I follow them and I reach out to them and they say thanks, or they don't respond at all, they don't follow back, to me, that's fine. But then I see that they're just doing it. They have tons of followers, but they're not equally following people. Do you see what I'm saying? And I can tell right away that they're coming from an angle of just wanting followers. And it's about them, which again is fine, because at the end of the day, I talk about that, right? Like, this is about you. That's why we created the happy universe, right? So anyways, enough on this for today's video, but if you want to hang on, I'm going to share just a little snippet of our conversation, and I think you're going to love it. We are giggling, and again, if it's not your cup of tea, you're going to be like, oh yeah, that would drive me nuts. They're like laughing too much, doing all this and that. But then again, I know that when you hear this and it is your vibe, you're going to be like, okay, how do I get on Clubhouse? I've got to be in this conversation. Okay, you guys, have a blessed day, and we'll see you in the next video.
What was their biggest vulnerability moment in their business, and then how they overcame it. And then, people would come on and do all, and I was like, ooh, that's really good, because it helps you kind of feel like I'm not alone in this.
Mostly because I knew what I was doing. I had a roadmap, even though it wasn't necessarily my roadmap. It was, there was a system in place. But I think honestly, when we start in business, we can be confident. But when we're creating from the ground up, that brings on other levels of confidence, like insecurities, I mean.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like you have to have that total okay, maybe not total, but in the moment it feels like a total crumbling of everything you thought you knew about stepping into this entrepreneurial adventure. And then from that total destruction, it's a surrender, then you rise up.
You in your own divinity, and still shining when something like that is happening, like when the storm is right next to you and you're still radiating your light. You're like, okay, that's really awesome though. But this is what I'm talking about, that at least something like this helped you tap into that.
Exactly.
Awesome. Gina.